Okay, so I think we're having an AV issue up till this point. We didn't miss too much, so let me recap what we were talking about. Sorry about that. And in the recording, that'll be fixed. So um, we cracked this open. We went ahead and bumped this up from, well, this should be 7.4 now. That's odd. Um, so one of the things that we had done, I guess I didn't click save, was bump this up to 7.4. So we'll let this run. Yeah, and it's about to run all the way through. So we'll let this run and bump it up to 7.4. Um, it seems like it's an issue with the nightly job more than it's an issue with the silver zone itself. So I might go ahead and rerun the job and see if it fails in the same way. And then we were talking about how we're going to create a surrogate key for some of these tables because in Power BI, we aren't able to get one-to-one relationships as desired. So we're going to use the concat function to go ahead and create a surrogate key. So like if we have a beer ID that's unique to beers and then we have a check-in ID that's unique to check-ins, what we need to do is just concatenate the beer ID with the check-in ID, and then we can have a unique global beer ID that we can use for filtering in those cross-table relationships. So that's sort of the goal for this afternoon. So we'll let this run, upgrade our cluster, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, so this ran all the way through. That sort of confirms our idea that it's just an issue with the ephemeral cluster rather than any code in the notebook. Those are a little harder to track down. So we'll look into that at some point, but maybe not today. So then once this runs, or I guess actually while it's running, I'm going to go ahead and kick off another nightly job. So let's look and see. So we can go ahead and upgrade this. 2 workers should be fine. Standard mode is fine. And if this doesn't work, we might look at the logs at some point. I'm not too worried about it. So those failed because it was disabled. But it's no big deal. This is designed to be idempotent, so we can always just kick it back off. Once we stop doing active development on this, we obviously want it to run nightly. The other thing I'm going to do is go ahead and kick this scaling up. Need to make a little checklist. There we go. It should be a lot easier to see. So let's go back through here and look at our relationships. So let's upgrade this. Okay, so I think we're gonna have to do some of this from scratch. That's fine. I don't want auto layout. So I want this to be facts. So we'll bring in our key fact or our core fact table, and then we'll bring in badges. And so this is where we ran into, I think, one of our first issues. So this should be on check-in ID. And we can say that check-in and check-in are related. And it's going to determine the cardinality for us. This is probably another one where we want a surrogate key to be created. We'll see. Because ideally we want this to be 1-to-1 too. It's being slow today. Probably because our cluster is restarting. Yeah, so sure enough, many to one. So let's go ahead and create that first surrogate key and see what that looks like. So over in our badge fact, excuse me. Run our parameters first. Okay, so then, cool. So then we'll have this be df fact badges unique, and we'll just add a column. Come on. So this is the new Python or PySpark autocomplete interface. I like it quite a bit, but it's a little slow. But it's similar to what you'd get from like PyCharm or something, which is what my preference. So we'll do with column, and we'll call this sk badges. And the logic will be concat, and it'll be between. Let's take a glance at this again. So it'll be between badge ID and check-in ID. Probably want quotes. Let's just take a glance at what this looks like. The other ones we won't need to look at, but okay. So that'll be good. And I don't think we'll get any collisions there. I can't imagine. We could hash it differently if needed, but I think it'll be fine. Okay, so then this will just be with SK. This is going to fail, or it should. So what we want to do is enable schema evolution. So for the sanction zone, I think we'll just enable that by default because we're going to be rapidly modifying those. And we're doing overwrite. So let's look at that. What that would look like. So I think it is. In here, it's going to be dot option update schema true. And then we'll update it up here. Oh, it's merge schema, not update schema. It's merge schema. Let me show you. Yeah. And then when we go to transform data for fact badges, we can refresh the preview. It'll come from our cluster and ba-bam, there we go. I'll do a quick refresh. I don't think it's going to do an incremental refresh. We'll see. Maybe it will. Maybe it'll be smart enough. Oh, it doesn't like media or untabs. I thought we were in import mode. I guess we have it. Yeah, we have it checked into GitHub. Let me double check before I blow up everything. Yeah, it's in Git, so we can go ahead and do this. I think it'll be fine. We want to be in import mode anyway. Yeah, I thought we had resolved that a couple weeks ago. Oh well. It's thinking. Okay, while that goes, we can keep chugging along. I'll keep that window open on the other side. Okay, so the next one I think we want to do this for is going to be beer and brewery. Actually, let's make sure that we're adding this to the primary fact table too. be the version without quotes, because I'm a genius. Let's just steal this. Oh yeah, because we don't, badges is the one that we don't even have in the fact table because it would cause a granularity explosion because there's more than one per deal. Okay, we might just deal with that for now. That's cool. Let's see about badges itself, if we want to do that. Yeah, this is, yeah, this is where we could do it though. Okay, cool. So let's see why it doesn't like media. Weird. So this is disabled. So let's fix that, and then, because we want the media table, that's a pretty important one to me. Does a lot of cool stuff. Okay, but we have our other stuff. Yeah, and it's trying to bring in everything every time. That's a little bizarre. Once this is all done, we can enable incremental refresh. And that should help. Oh, that wasn't too bad. So this is still going to be check-in to check-in. And it'll be a MIDI to one. And then we'll make a new one for badges. Actually, I think I want to do, I'm still working out what patterns I like for these new like specific relationship tabs. I think I'm going to make this badges, and I think I'm going to include everything in it. Yeah, I like that. So this should be We'll set that up at some point, not today. I just wanted the tab. Come on. Sometimes, man, with Windows. Okay, let's do another refresh because this should be done now. And this has SK badges. Okay. What the heck? Oh, crap. Duh. Okay. That was dumb. Oh well. Forgot to change the table name. So we can verify that in the preview. Sure enough, there's our new field. We'll make it clear that this is a, where'd my window go? We'll make it clear that this is a numeric. So that it can do the quick matching. Let's apply that. Bam. Okay, now we can okay. Because an active set indirect. I wish that you wouldn't do that. Power BI. I really do. At least you can do a bulk delete now. Okay, so now we can do what we want. So we can go, and then the fact badges should be a string. So let's change that to fact badges, aka, or SK. So then we'll do an apply there, and that should only bring in the changes like we saw with badges. Okay, now we can minimize this. We can go back over here. We can go from numeric to numeric, cross filter, unique cardinality, go from check-in to check-in. This is going to be many to one cardinality in a single direction. I'll play around with that later to see if we need it for other fields. But this should all be working now. So then let's go ahead and move on to beer. That's our next option. So just a reminder of what these tables look like. So we're going to bring in facts again, bring in fact beer, and then bring in beer itself. So beer ID is not going to be one-to-one in the fact table or the beer table. Here it should be one-to-many, but we're going to go ahead and create that surrogate column all the way across. So this, yeah, this should be fine. One-to-many. We don't really have an option there. And then let's bring in this. So for the beer view, we're good. So we'll do it for the fact table next. So we'll do with column, and I'm going to steal the other with column. SK beer, and we'll do check an ID, and we'll do, what's that called again? Yeah, beer BID. It's called that in the fact column too. Yeah, I don't really like that. So we're also going to do a rename here. It's not the end of the world, but it's still silly. We want consistent names. Beer bid, and then this should be, yeah, beer ID and beer ID. Fax unique. Okay, and we'll write that to Delta, and then we'll write that out here. We'll steal this new column so that we can apply it to the beer fax table. Let's run this so we can get autocomplete. And that should be good. We want to steal our rename too. Drop that in before the unique. And then we want to make sure and overwrite our data frame name. And then we should be able to register that on the data lake. Okay. So let's go in here and we'll follow our same pattern for the transform. So in beer, we'll refresh the preview, or sorry, in fact beer, because beer won't change. So this, we can just remove this. We can call this a whole number, and then in facts, we'll do the same thing. Didn't we do this in fact? Fact beer. Oh, I see what we did in fact. Yeah, SK beers. So where is it? Did the same thing again. Remembered in one place and not the other. Okay, so let's let that right, and then we'll do the same thing again. So our preview refresh. SK viewers, and we'll make that a whole number. And we can do a little quick apply here, get everything over. Okay, now of course it created all these new relationships we didn't ask for. Freaking hate that. I bet that's like a setting or something. It's gonna drive me insane by the end of this session, so I'm gonna go investigate. What beer? Got deleted as a table apparently. That's annoying. So we'll duplicate that and make a new beer table, I guess. That's annoying. Now it's going to want to refresh everything. Or evaluate it at least. It's going to think there's all these new relationships, I bet. Instead of just listening to me. Okay, there we go. Now we can make a new one for the beer table. Okay, cool. So next we can do brewery. So we need to change the name and the brewery fact. This for some reason is called brewery bid. And you know how I feel about that. Okay, so we'll bring that in. Okay, so that's in brewery fact. Let's go ahead and bring in our new column. Okay, let's double check this. So SK Brewery, cool. We can steal this and put it on fact as well. We'll make sure we get our SK there. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. Okay. So we can do our apply. And then this should be, that's new. What are you mad about? Many to many. Okay. So this makes sense too. So for beer, we had it on, well, no, we should have the same. Oh, this was because we needed to suppress the or flatten the lat and launch. Because remember, there was that one brewery that had dupes. So we've only got like 5 minutes left today, so I'm gonna just come back around to that. Yeah, so we've still got that in there, so we'll come back around. But we can go ahead and do this. Although the SK on brewery should be relabeled. So let's do that. That sucks. I'd kind of forgotten about that. Okay, so SK to SK. Cool. And then we'll do comments. Okay. So we want to change this to comment ID. And then we'll add in our SK. Oh, not DK. We'll do with column. Okay, and then we want this to be called SK comment. It'll be check-in ID and comment ID. And we'll go ahead and grab this. And we'll run this. Add the SK here. run it here, and then we'll do it in our fact table. Come on. Must be really thinking about it for comments, which is bizarre. There's only, I think, like one comment in the entire system. Jeez. Okay. So I'll rename this. Okay, and we'll refresh fact and comment. We'll have to do some historic ingest for the actual comments field, but hey, we've got our SK. That's all that matters. So we'll go check-in ID here. Or actually, let's do comment ID because that'll be unique on both sides. Did we seriously forget to rename this again? SK comments. Yeah. That's weird. The bizarre. So that should be unique. That's wrong. Because that should have been deduped. Let's take a look at that. So that's a whole number. Yeah. Oh, it's because it's, gotcha. It's doing an overflow. So this does need to be text or else it's not going to be unique. That's annoying because that's going to be slow. And I think this is wrong. Oh, okay. I see what happened. Let's add this in the to-dos because that's the actual comment field. Okay, so we'll do that next time. Let's check on our job real quick. Yeah, so there's something about when we run it as a job versus when we do it all at once. I'll dig into the logs for that next time too.